Do you struggle with impressioning keys? Well, if you do, you are not alone, and in this video, I'm gonna go over a technique to help get you back on track. In my experience, impressioning is mostly skill, but the remainder is confidence. And if you find yourself struggling impressioning and your confidence goes down, well, guess what? Like, in my experience, it's not gonna go very well. I kind of relate it to golfing. And there's times I'll go out and I'll be hitting the ball and it's absolutely wonderful. Even my mishits seem to land in the general area that they were supposed to. Other times I go out, next thing you know, I'm hitting houses, having all sorts of problems, right? And my confidence goes way down and I just keep hitting bad shot after bad shot. Well, I think that's what happens with impressioning a lot of times. And we can go through these cycles where it's difficult, or maybe you've not ever even caught on yet. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you a method that can help you get back on track. I actually came across this years ago. There was a guy who was really, really good at impressioning. And I was like, how do you do it? What are you doing? Show me. And he was like, simple. I don't use a file. I'm like, okay, well, doesn't make much sense. How do you impression without a file, right? And what he did is use his code machine. And so that's the method we're gonna be going over right now. Now, before we get onto this method, I wanna make sure I do have videos going over techniques on how to impression in the notes below. Make sure, if you have not watched those, check those out because they'll be very, very helpful. All right, so back to impressioning without a file. So for everything we're gonna be going over today, you can go ahead, take your file, you can put it aside because you're not gonna be using it again. This is what I want you to do. I want you to find a disk tumbler lock. A cam lock is a really good choice, all right? And why we wanna go disk and not pin is disk have a lot more tolerance, okay? And it's really a great place to start. So go ahead and find yourself a cam lock that has keys to it and that actually has a code series on it, because this is the first step. I want you just to code cut a key. So look the code up in your code program and then just cut a key for it. Now, once you've done that and you have the right code series, you have the right bidding, you cut the key and it works, go ahead and take the keys that work and just set them aside. So this is gonna be your first step. Take a blank key. You can go ahead and clean off the top a little bit. I guess you can use that file for just a second. So once you've cleaned off the top of the key that you're gonna be looking for the marks, go ahead and put the key in and try to get those impressioning marks. Okay, so now that you've done that and you're looking at the key, you're looking for those impressioning marks. Where you believe you've seen them, go ahead, put that key into your code machine and go down one depth on those areas. Now, this is where it gets good because a lot of times, right, when we're impressioning, we're not sure if we went deep enough or if we went too deep. What we're doing here is we're making you make the decision, is that a mark or not? And if you believe it is, you're going down one depth. There's no halvesies here. All right, so once you've done that, you're just gonna put the key back in like you're normally impressioning a key and try to get those marks again. Once you pull the key out and you identify where the marks are, go ahead and put the key back into your code machine, and in those spaces where you see the marks, go ahead and bring those spaces down an additional depth. And at this point, you're gonna keep doing this until you get a key that works. Now, as you go through this technique, what's gonna happen is you're gonna really start to be firm in your decision making. You're gonna be like, this is a mark, I'm gonna bring it down a depth, or it's not a mark. And you're gonna get to the spot where there's not like 15 little depths on the key. And so as you keep going through this method, all of a sudden the key is going to work. Now, hopefully at that point, you're gonna find yourself being like, okay, you know what, I get it. I'm seeing the marks, I'm bringing them down a depth, and I got a key that works. And then there's other times where you're gonna be like, listen, I thought that might have been a mark, not quite sure, and so I just left it and I just started working on the other marks, right? And that's gonna help build your confidence. Now, once you successfully do this, now it is gonna be easier because you actually know what the key looks like, right? So it's gonna make, you might cheat yourself a little bit because you know where those marks are. But as you do this and you get comfortable with it, go ahead and start using this technique on locks that you don't have the key for, or you don't have the key pattern memorized. And as you do that and as you progress, all of a sudden you can bring the file back in and you're gonna be a lot more in tune with what's going on. All right, so there you have it. It's a really fun, basic technique that can really help elevate your impressioning game. But I really want to know how many of you out there have used this method, have found it helpful, and if you're really good at impressioning, do you have any tips or tricks that you can put in the comments to help other Lockboss community members? And make sure when you do leave a comment that you include the hashtag Lockboss to automatically get entered in to win one of 5 free prizes we give away each week here on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. So once you have your key, do you struggle with impressioning keys? I know it's cool.